Hey, so how much can a bookkeeping business make? So this is a really interesting, complex answer because a bookkeeping can make anywhere from $0 to I've seen as high as like seven figures. Some can go to 8 figures, but they have to like introduce other services, right? So the main question is like how to know how much your bookkeeping business can make, and is it worth it for you even to try it, right? That's kind of what I think of whenever I ask that question. Because when I was starting out, I was saying, okay, like, is this a business model that could potentially like replace my job? If it's something that could replace my job, is it like worth it? And how much time is it going to take for me to be able to do that? So number one, the first thing you have to know is like, what is your time actually worth? So a lot of people, like, they don't really understand that. So, and the reason why it's important is because if you don't know how much your current time is worth right now, you don't really know what is the earning potential of an accounting or bookkeeping business, and you don't really understand whether or not it's like worth it for you to get started. So for example, the average American, and I know if you're working a job, you probably work way more than this. Average American is going to work 2080, so 2,080 hours per year. It's about a 40-hour work week. So if you're doing about, let's say you're doing about $125,000 per year, if you divide that by 2080, that means that you're doing about $60 per working hour. And that's even for your salary, it's still dollars per hour that you work, right? So you're doing about $60 per hour. So the question to ask is, can a bookkeeping business do more than $60 per hour? The answer is yes. I've seen bookkeeping businesses do as much as $150, $170, even $200 per hour. Let's say on the medium end, we do like $150 per hour, right? So if you do 150 times 2080, that means you could probably do about $312,000 per year if you can just get the average client to pay you above $150 per hour. Now, the way to do that is if you're just going up to someone, you're saying like, hey, I'm charging $200 an hour. Most business owners are not going to go for paying you $200 per hour. But if you can convert that hourly price into a flat rate that you're not directly selling your time per hour, you can actually get above that and make more. I have some students I mentor students in our mentorship program. I have some people get as high as $350, $400 per hour, right? Because they're doing flat rates, and then when you start doing automations within the actual accounting work itself, it lowers that time it takes to do so. So you're making the same amount of money, but you're spending less time. Now that $200 per hour turned to $400 per hour relatively quickly. Now, the next thing is how quickly could you actually get up to that income? Most people are going to, in the first 18 months of their business, they're going to replace whatever they were making in their current job, right? There's something called homeostasis. So when we talk about homeostasis, your body is trying to keep you safe. Homeostasis in science is, let's say that your internal temperature is like 78 degrees right now. And then if the thermostats drop down to like 30 degrees, your body is going to start shivering to try and generate warmth, right? Because it feels the 78's dropping, so it's trying to create friction in your body to get it back up to there. Or let's say that you're at 78 and it's super hot outside. Your body starts sweating to cool you off so that you don't rise, you stay at 78. Well, we have a financial homeostasis. And that is like, what level of income are we used to making in our life so that we can like pay our bills, have a certain level of savings, and live, a good quality of life. So if, let's say you quit your job tomorrow, your body's going to be freaking out. So it's looking for all these different ways to get back up here. Now, just because your body is in this panic mode does not mean you're going to just grow your business naturally and you're going to like get up to that level. It's when you have the right skill sets in addition to homeostasis, that's when you get to that income goal or the income like bare minimum that you already had, right? So if you're making about, let's say you're making about $125 a year at your current job, in the next 18 months of your bookkeeping business, you should end up at about 125, right? To get to like 300 or 200, there is some different things we have to kind of do mindset-wise to kind of get your homeostasis up to a higher level so that you start doing the activities needed to get to 200, 250, or $300,000 per year. Now, one thing that's really important is exponential versus linear growth. So there's two different ways you can grow exponentially in your accounting and bookkeeping business. And this is going to determine how likely you are to make a good amount of money in this business model. Okay, I'm not just, I'm kind of going someplace with this. So you can either go and get a lot of clients. Like, let's say you got 20 clients per month, right? So you go like 20, 40, 60, boom, right? Or you can charge the same price you would for 20 small clients. So I'll give you an example. So let's say that you are doing 20 clients at $100 per month. That's $2,000 per month, right? That's a lot of clients. That's a lot of communication. That's a lot of egos you have to kind of satisfy. That's a lot of one-off meetings, a lot of text message, a lot of updates. That's a lot. Versus you just charge someone, one client, $2,000, that's a lot less strain on you as a business owner. So if you grow exponentially with clients, you're going to limit how much you can actually grow because there's a limit to the amount of time spent, not just on the bookkeeping itself, but actually with the client management, right? And the client interaction. So you will hit a cap. So if you, let's say, you get a bunch of small clients for $100, you're going to cap out probably like 20 to probably 30 clients. Now, you have to think, Bryce, 30 clients, $100 a month, that's $3,000 a month. That's good. It's like, yes, that's. I'm not hating on you if you're at that spot, but if you're watching this video, my thought is that you're not just trying to work your job and have 40 clients at the same time. Now you have like 2 jobs. Usually it's like we're trying to make either the lateral step to replace our job, then we're trying to grow. So if you get too many clients, you're going to stop your growth. For example, I had a student named Melissa, and when she came to me, she had 35 clients paying anywhere between $50 to $150 a month. It basically averaged out to about like $80 per hour. And yeah, she was still working a full-time job. She had been in business 11 years. 11 years. And her business was only doing like $3,500 a month. And it was just like, dude, that's crazy. So the first thing we did was we basically showed her how to charge accurate prices, and we showed her how to get clients that are willing to pay those accurate prices. Because before, when you have like those smaller clients, in a lot of cases, they're very good at like doing like the sob story, the violin story, where it's like, oh, I can't afford to pay you more. Oh, I really want to work with you, but I just don't have the budget. And you're like, oh, I should lower my prices, right? A lot of them are really good at it, and it's just like, if you have to be very strong and very precise with your pricing in order to like go after the right clients. But if you start going after bigger clients from the jump, they don't do those same kind of like, those same kind of song and dance that someone that's smaller would do. So at that point, right, all we did was go after better clients, charge way more, and by the time that she started at 31. By the time she got to about, I think it was like 30, it was either 35 or 36 clients, she was at $9,500 a month. So she tripled her business income with, I think it's, what is that, 4 to 5 clients. Triple their business income, right? That's what I'm saying. So you can either grow exponentially with like getting 1 billion clients, but again, you're capped, or you just get better quality prices and learn how to do that. Now, this is also another thing too. Do you need to go exponentially, or do you need to just go linearly? So a lot of people never really think about how much energy do they have after a long day of work. How much bandwidth or mental width do you have when you're working a full-time job, starting a business, and you have like children? Maybe if your children are grown, you might have more. If your children are like, 1-year-old, you might have less, right? So you have to kind of consider that as well. If, let's say that you're doing about $150K per year in your job or more, and you're going to have to grow exponentially because, again, you're going to have that cap, right? So it's like, because probably your job, you have a lot of hours, maybe you're managing people, but if you get caught at $5,000 a month, it more than likely will not be enough to kind of even like match probably what your lifestyle spends. So you have to kind of get to that, $10,000 a month as quickly as possible. It's a necessity. You have to in order to leave your job. Versus like maybe if you're making like less than that, like maybe you're making like $120,000, $190,000, $80,000, you can kind of afford to go linearly because it's only going to take a certain number of months, under 12 months, to replace your income. Ideally, you could either do it like, what is the income you're currently making at your job, and then work backwards from there. Or what you could do is you could see what are your bills every single month, and then see, okay, so how much do I have to make from my business in order to cover my bills fully? And then once you're there, now you know you're within striking distance of leaving your job. But then if you can 1.5x that, that's when I'd say you're very, very safe to go and leave your job. So, but let's say that your monthly expenses and your monthly bills are $5,000 a month, and if you don't know what I know this sounds weird. Like if I'm really if you don't know what your monthly expenses are, you need to go do that stuff. I thought everyone knew that. I just thought that was just something everyone knew and did. But I found out recently from a lot of different types of occupations and people that a lot of people don't know what their bills are. It's just, do I have more? It's almost like how business owners run their business. Like, do I have more money at the end of the month than I did at the beginning, or do I have less? And it's just like, whoa, that my friend's crazy. But so know what your bills are, right? And then ideally, at the end of the day, for bookkeeping businesses, like a really good comfort level for most people is when you're able to 3x your monthly bills. That's really a good spot to be, because then you have more choice. Not only are you able to leave your job, but you can go on the vacations you want. You can invest into different initiatives. You can invest in like your kid's college fund. You can bring other people on. Like, you have a lot more freedom once you kind of get to that number of 3x of your monthly bills. Now, if your monthly bills are 5,000 a month, right? When you start getting to 15K per month, that's gonna be probably the best spot in life for you, because then you can put away $100,000 per year before we talk about tax and stuff, right? And it gives you so much more freedom, Okay, so that's exponentially like how much can you make from your bookkeeping business. My nose started running, so I'm gonna end this video here. But talk to you soon. My name is Bryce, and I'll see you inside the next video. Talk to you.